Good evening, everybody. My name's Jo Warren. I'm the Careers and Work Experience Manager here at King Alfred's Academy. Thank you so much for having me this evening. I'm so sorry that I can't be there, but I hope that this might give you a bit of an insight into our work experience programme. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is which students go on work experience and when. Why do we ask students to go on work experience? What does hosting a student involve and how to create a meaningful experience for the students? How the placement process works and other opportunities local businesses can get involved with within the school. Okay, so firstly, which students go on work experience and when? So, as I'm sure you're aware, the very traditional route is that our year 10s do a week's work experience in June, and then our year 12s do a week's work experience in March. Those students are actually out this week. We also have a group of students in years 10 and 11, there's probably about 30 of them in total, that we offer an alternative provision for. These students are students that maybe struggle a bit in the classroom and are better at learning more practically than sat in front of a teacher listening to facts and information. And so we work with local companies to facilitate 1 or 2 day work experiences a week for these students. And so it's on a more long-term basis than it is for just a block. If anybody's interested in doing that, please do get in touch with me. Thank you to those who already do. An example is we've got a year 11 student right now that wants to be a mechanic in the future, and so we've got a placement with him at a local garage where he's shadowing them 2 days a week and building up those skills ready for in September to go and start a college course to become a mechanic. Obviously that's a great grounding for him to be able to then go off and have that dream. We're also in a situation where the garage has said that if everything goes according to plan, that they will offer him an apprenticeship from September. So it may be another way through for different students to be able to see how they fit in with an industry in the future. Okay, so why do we ask students to go on work experience? We'd like them to try out career ideas with the view to either affirming their aspiration or to rule out that industry. We see work experience very much as a trial and error situation, particularly in year 10, where students don't really know what it might be that they want to do in the future. So it gives them an opportunity to see a real life situation. And we say that it's okay if they come away realising that they don't necessarily want to work in that. Obviously, we hope it goes in the other way, that they're so excited about it that that's then what they focus on. But it can be an either way situation. We want the students to find out a bit more about themselves, so their strengths, their values, motivations and interests, developing their soft skills such as teamworking and problem solving, meeting and interacting with new people, as in not being in the bubble of school, seeing the same people every day. They need to learn that they communicate differently with different people, and it's always great to build a network of useful contacts. To challenge themselves, so I touched upon that, communicating with people they don't know, but also being in a situation they don't know where it's not all prescribed out to them what they're going to do for the whole day, that they will end up in situations where they don't know the answers to something, how they deal with that, being resilient if they don't feel very well, going into work still and getting through the day. There's lots of different skills that they can learn by going on a work experience week. And then finally, to meet Gatsby benchmark number 6, which is experience of workplaces. Apologies to those of you who do know what the Gatsby benchmarks are. We have 8 benchmarks that we are asked to be governed by the Department for Education for careers, and one of them is about work experience. But basically we have to report 3 times a year on where the school are at, and we're supported very much by Oxfordshire County Council to complete these reports. And it's very much about having a very clear steer for careers, and that every school is working in the same way, even though you can deviate to what activities it is that you offer, that ultimately there's there's a guideline there behind the scenes as to how you achieve this careers programme for the students. Okay, so what does hosted a student involve? So, allowing students an insight into your industry and the roles within your company. If you've got multiple departments, it'd be great for the students to be able to see what each department do and what their role is in ensuring that your company is successful. So to see a full cycle of what each cog does and how that all fits together. What your employees do on a day-to-day basis. Talking to students about the progression routes into being able to do your job. So did you need a degree in a particular subject to do your job, or did you do an apprenticeship, or are you self-taught? It's really important for students to understand that there's so many different ways to get into doing jobs, and to hear from a real life person on what it is that they've done and the differences. They can talk to multiple different people and doing the same job, and they may all have very different routes. So to hear that directly would be brilliant. To talk about the opportunities you offer for when students are older. So did your employees have part-time job with you and then come to you as a school leaver, or did they go off and do a university degree and do a placement with you and then you offered them a job afterwards? Are they an apprentice? There's so many different ways that people have ended up doing jobs, or what have they done in the past and then decided to do that came to them working with you. And that could be that they've done something very, very different and then decided to retrain and do something new. Again, it's just really interesting for students to understand what those different things are. Explain why you have a passion for your industry and why you do the job that you do. Everybody does the job that they do because they're passionate about it, and I don't know anybody that I speak to on a daily basis that isn't passionate about their own job. And so it's putting that passion out there so that students can understand the real reasoning behind why you get out of bed each morning and go and do the job that you do. What's the rewarding side of your job? What's the impact that you're making? And then also how your company benefits the wider community. So how do you create a meaningful experience for our students? So I've just come up with 4 small points. Obviously, if you were able to do these, that would be brilliant. I'm sure you already do. So allowing students access to all areas as much as is reasonably possible. For them to see the whole cycle of a business would be brilliant. For them to see how all the cogs fit together, how it works. Honesty, so be completely honest with them about the types of duties that each role do. So the good side and the bad side, and then the skills that you use to overcome difficulties within those roles. So say your time management skills, or some resilience, or how to deal with a difficult situation. Managing their expectations of going into that career or industry in terms of entry requirements. So if you have to have a degree, then it's good that they know that. If you have to have A-levels in a certain thing, again, it's good that they know that they would need A-levels over B-Techs, or even the fact that we strive to have all students leave school with at least maths and English, and that students understand just how important those 2 subjects are. Obviously, they're subjects that students have done all the way from year 7, all the way through to year 11, and because they're compulsory, they're forced to do them, and just to make them understand why we ask them to do that and the worth that they need for in the future to be able to have that qualification. And then finally, listening to their aspirations and answering any questions that they may have. So how does the placement process work? So as I say, our year 12s are out on work experience right now, so thank you to those that have hosted those students. Year 10 have just started the process, so we launched it in January, and they're currently researching where they might like to go and contacting employers. It's likely that they will be contacting you via email, as that's what we've pushed for them to do from their school email addresses. It might also be that they call in and see you because they're local, or they might ring you. Once students have received confirmation of their placement, they log it into a secure educational platform called Unifrog. We use Unifrog across all years, and it's a great careers tool, but it also has a placement section, and that's what we use this for. So they put in all the information about what you've confirmed with them and their expectations for the week, and also their parental emergency contact. And then once that's all in, you will, as an employer, will then receive an email from noreply@unifrog.org with a link to complete an online form. So again, it'll be you confirming what your expectations for the week are, the time they're due to arrive, dress code, if they are able to get food where you are, and those sorts of things. So very practical side of things. And then the last part of it is the safety part. So we have to make sure that our students are going to be completely safe and secure when they go out on work experience and aren't in school. So we ask you to upload your employability liability insurance, and also your fire and health and safety risk assessments, which is something that all businesses should just have to hand. We're not asking you to upload something that you've not got. Obviously, sole traders do work slightly differently to that. They don't have to have the health and safety and the fire information written down, but we would ask that it's in place, and that's shared with anybody shares all this with the student on the first day anyway. And so a sole trader doesn't have to upload the documentation except for their liability insurance certificate. Once all that's uploaded, Unifrog is very clever, and it will then email the parents and carers to grant permission. This is their opportunity to tell you anything that the students haven't already told you. So maybe if they've got any illnesses, or if they are anxious in new situations, or if they carry an EpiPen, for example, or they're diabetic or whatever. It's just an opportunity for them to give you a final bit of insight. And then finally it comes to me, and I review everything that's in the information that's been provided, and then grant permission from the school's perspective. Obviously, if there's anything that I need to follow up on or do a secondary risk assessment, then this would be the time that I would do that. So once the placement has finished, what are you required to do? So our students are asked to complete a self-reflection form on Unifrog. You'll find that our year 10s will also bring a booklet with them to complete during the week, so if you're able to help them with that, that would be great. And it's an opportunity for the students to give you and us direct feedback about how that week's gone. Employers are also asked to complete an evaluation, which will act as a reference for the future. So Unifrog will store that, and then it will go into the system, and they can upload it to any applications and show that you've how they acted with you for work experience. Which of course can be a great confidence boost if they've had a great week and they've really engaged with it. Finally, how else can your business work with us as a school? So we've just had our annual careers fair, which was on the 12th of February. It would be brilliant next year to have more local businesses represented. I'll ask Mary to ask for details from people that are interested in that, and so that I can be in contact with you nearer the time to ask if you would like a stall. This year we had 850 students go through, so obviously you hit a lot of students. It was year 9s to 13s, and we had 32 businesses represented, and it fell in National Apprenticeship Week, and so there was a real buzz going around about the different apprenticeships that they could do. And it was just really inspiring to see the students having really decent conversations with employers about what it is that they do and how do they get in to do the things that they're doing. So a couple of other things that I'm hoping to set up for next academic year, which is mock interviews with students. So this would probably be aimed particularly years 11 and 13, but you can't do these things early enough really. So it's mainly to help the students understand what a real life interview would be like in that sort of scenario, but we would need a room of employers to be able to do that. I'd also like to set up a lecture series, so particularly focusing on anybody that started their own business. If you would be happy to come and speak to a room full of students about how you've done that, that would be brilliant. Also, as I keep talking about apprenticeships, everything's changed so much recently with that, guys, and so anybody that can offer local apprenticeships please do get in touch and we can advertise those for you. And then finally, your social engagement and impact strategy. I've spoken to some consultants that work with local companies about what it is that you would like to do to work with young people in the future workforce. And so if there's anything we can do to help you with that, please do get in touch and we'll see if we can support you. So thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm so sorry I can't be there today, but I hope that this has been useful for you. If anyone's got any questions or concerns, please email me. My email address is on screen now. And I'm sure also Mary will take any questions, try and answer them as best as she can. And I'm happy to put together an FAQ document for any questions that anybody's got and send that back out to the chamber. So thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you so much. Bye.